Governor Andrew Cuomo in New York, man, he is a fighter against corruption. So much so that in 2013, he appointed the Moreland Commission to make sure they rooted out corruption from everywhere there was in New York. He did a press conference about this. He went all across the state, barnstorming to tell everybody, we're going to get rid of corruption. If money is being funneled to politicians, no way. If they're not disclosing the identities of their donors, no way. We're going to put an end to all that stuff. If political favors are being done because of contributions to politicians, Andrew Cuomo is the guy to stop it. In fact, he said as he was proposing the program and the commission, he said, anything they want to look at, they can look at me, the lieutenant governor, the attorney general, the comptroller, any senator, any assemblyman. Now, how clear is that? Went on to say, trust is everything to me. So I'm appointing a new independent commission led by top law enforcement officials from all across this great state to investigate and prosecute wrongdoing. The politicians in Albany won't like it, but I work for the people. And he did. The commission had some Republicans, had some Democrats, but mainly had federal prosecutors, local prosecutors, attorneys. Great, okay? And it was a solid commission. And Andrew Cuomo added, the people of this state should sleep better tonight. Because he was going to come. He was going to come for corruption and root it out at its core, okay? You go get it. You see where this is going to go? New York Times with an enormous story about how Andrew Cuomo and his political hatchet men inside the commission and outside the commission buried the commission. If they went anywhere near investigating anything related to Democrats, and specifically Andrew Cuomo, oh, I don't think so. That's not what he meant. He meant you go after my political opponents. Oh. So the chief of investigators there was a former federal prosecutor, Dania Perry. The New York Times explains, one of the first roadblocks Ms. Perry and her investigators encountered came when they sought to subpoena the Real Estate Board of New York, a powerful trade group whose members have been among Mr. Cuomo's most generous supporters. Well, you look at that. You look after Governor Cuomo's supporters, all of a sudden, he didn't mean to investigate me or my lieutenant governor or anything like that. He meant the other guys. So there's this guy, Mr. Schwartz, we're going to explain here. He's the main political operative trying to make sure the commission does not go after the governor. New York Times says, Mr. Schwartz, the secretary to the governor, telephoned one of the commission's 3 leaders in a fury. According to 4 people briefed on the call, there would be no subpoena to the real estate board, he said. So they subpoena the real estate board. And he's like, are you insane? Those are our donors. See, like we have a group to get money out of politics, to really root out the corruption. It's called Wolfpack, wolf-pack.com. Okay, we don't give a damn if it's Democrats or Republicans. We just want to root out the corruption. These guys, they're just playing politics, man. They don't mean it. They're like, no. You don't understand. Those are our donors. Well, I want to get rid of your donors too. I want a real debate in this country, a real democracy where we battle over ideas, not who's got bigger donors. So Mr. Schwartz, according to the New York Times, and mind you, look at all the people that they had as witnesses to these, right? Generally acknowledged giving the commission advice on investigative or tactical decisions, but only to approve its effectiveness and fairness. You see, the political hatchet man for Cuomo was just trying to improve the effectiveness of the commission so that they would effectively investigate their enemies and not them. Okay. Then the commission made a second mistake. They started looking into this company called Buying Time. You see, it's a company that helps politicians buy airtime. So they get money from those politicians and they buy all those annoying political ads, and that's where all the political money goes to, right? Attack ads, ads in favor of the governor and to other politicians to make sure that you are deceived and vote in the direction of whoever has more money, right? So when the subpoena was issued to Buying Time, same Lawrence Schwartz says in an email, this is wrong. And then William J. Fitzpatrick, who's one of the co-chairs of the commission, tells the others, okay, quote, pull it back. So that subpoena, we didn't mean it, just pull it back. We have been advised that it would be more effective if we don't investigate the people that the governor does business with. So why? Well, the panel's chief investigator, Ms. Perry again, said in an email at the time, they apparently produce ads for the governor. So no go, no interest in that. New York Times further explains the governor's office was editing letters, telling her what subpoenas she could not issue, and dictating what investigative avenues she could not pursue. Remember what he said in the beginning? You can look at anybody, me included. I just want to root out corruption. Such an honest man, Governor Cuomo. In fact, in the middle of this, as some news stories start to get leaked about, hey, it looks like he's trying to block the commission's efforts when it comes to him and other Democrats, he goes out and says publicly, no, they have total ability to look at whatever they want to look at. Meanwhile, when he's not in public, of course, he's making sure that they do the exact opposite. Now we go back to the Real Estate Board of New York. Those are the guys who give a ton of money to Democrats. In fact, their president, Stephen Spinola, wrote a letter to people involved in that organization saying, you better give more money to state Democrats. Why? He explains in the letter. I can tell you that in private meetings with the Speaker, the Senate Majority Leader, and the Governor, our past efforts to maintain a personal and supportive relationship was critical in shaping the outcome of legislation. That's the definition of corruption. He's saying our supportive help, money that we gave them, gave us the legislation that we wanted. Now, you can parse words as to whether that's legal or illegal, and unfortunately in our enormously corrupt system, it's largely legal. Where they go, oh, well, what? That was just donor money. And oh, that legislation had nothing to do with the donor money that I got in bucketfuls. And here's the donor saying it did. It was our money that got the legislation changed, right? That's why you got to get it all out, man. Go to the root, wolf-pack.com. Get constitutional amendments so these politicians on both sides can't play these nonsense games. They're all up to here in corruption. Spinola continues in his letter, our future ability to adopt favorable legislation, stop terrible legislation, or modify legislation to limit the pain to our industry is directly tied to our continued positive relationship. That positive relationship is greased by a lot of money. That's why the governor didn't want his own commission looking into this. New York Times says Ms. Perry, the chief investigator, described Mr. Spinola's memo as explicitly stating the obvious point that a supportive relationship, i.e. the contribution of money, yields legislative outcome. And that's when everyone went bananas. How dare you? We didn't actually mean be independent. We didn't mean investigate everybody, even though I said it over and over again. We meant go after our political opponents. Governor Cuomo has no intention of rooting out corruption. He lives and breathes corruption in New York. This guy pretends to be a progressive who might even run for president or go and get on a ticket somehow in 2016, maybe as a VP candidate, because he's such a progressive fighter. He pretended to be in favor of public financing of elections in New York. New York Times explains in this article as well. No. In reality, behind the scenes, lukewarm support. And when this particular commission said, hey, we should recommend that we do public financing in New York, once again, political operatives for Andrew Cuomo come in and go, oh, no, don't put that in the report. They have no interest in public financing. How do you think Governor Cuomo got elected? With people like from the Real Estate Board of New York taking piles of cash, literally millions of dollars. You think he doesn't like that corrupt system? That corrupt system is what made him governor. He loves that system. So when they said, hey, wait a minute, what are you doing with this commission? He said, oh, no, I got rid of it. In the beginning, he did this huge press conference. When he got rid of it, it was 63 seconds, a little over a minute, in response to a question as he was bragging about some legislation he got that was just window dressing in addressing corruption. They said, hey, whatever happened to the commission? Oh, he said, oh, I killed it. Yeah, it's done. Okay. They're like, well, why'd you do that? Oh, he said, no, mission accomplished. We got the legislation we wanted, so we don't need that commission anymore. They said, wait a minute, now it looks like based on the investigation here, and now federal officials are looking in to see if the governor did something wrong in killing this commission and how he handled this commission. They said, it looks like it wasn't independent at all. It looked like it was just doing your bidding. He says, what do you mean? I never said it had to be independent. Quote, a commission appointed by and staffed by the executive cannot investigate the executive. Get a load of this. He says, since I appointed the commission, well, it would be a conflict of interest for the commission to look into me. So I wanted to be so ethical so as to make sure that they didn't investigate me because it's run by me. But then why did you say in the beginning that he could look into you? Why did you say over and over throughout the whole process that he could look into anyone? Because you're a liar. That's why. One final piece after he got rid of the commission. He says, quote, "It's my commission. I can't interfere with it because it's mine. It's controlled by me." You think Governor Cuomo's a progressive? You think Governor Cuomo wants to get money out of politics? Oh, no, no, no. Governor Cuomo loves this system.